Blessings, welcome forward to Reasons Right to the Trail Life. I'm your host, the Great Owl. Yeah, on a mystical rainy day, yeah, up on the mountains. I'm inside, you know what I mean? But I had to share this word because, it's been on my emotions, my feeling, and my spirit, and my purview. So I said to myself, let's, get this information out, to the people. You know, there are a lot of sorcerers that are placated in front of us, casting spells and incantation on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And one of the most intriguing things is that we are at a point now where a lot of their spells are coming to, you know, its great fruition, right? Their work of ages is now coming through because they truly want to destroy the complete sovereignty of the soul of man. Whether they're within government, so-called government, which is really these corporations, or they're within the so-called religious organization, or even civic organizations as well too, and they're placated along these paths, so-called legalistic paths as well too. So they're lawyers and so-called judges as well, but they're all sorcerers, and they're also chemists, biochemists, doctors, and so forth, right? So they're all sorcerers working spells and incantation, and some of the most powerful ones of them are hidden, so you won't really see them. They're in the brotherhood and the sacred fraternities and within the sororities of the sisters. Sorry, kunseru. So one of the things about it is these sorcerers are presented before you every single day, reading from a pre-described spell, a script that is set out a specific way within word tonation, using ultra waves, delta waves, and the very frequency of megahertz, right? So all those things are interwoven through what they're speaking to cast spells, to really basically go beneath the alpha waves of the mind to the delta waves, to plant thoughts in your subconscious, to basically manipulate you from the inner core, making you feel that, well, you're making these decisions on your own, but actually they have placed something deep within the subtext of your consciousness. So these sorcerers really are operating every single day, and they have badges and insignia that represent them to each other so they can know each other. And so these orders and hierarchies are placated around us. And one of the things about it is you say to yourself, well, why is it this way? Because societies have been developed and have been developed along a certain level and way of thinking. And one of the last bastion of power that they did not conquer is really the sovereign logos, which is the independence of the human mind. And so if you can control the mind, well, they figure out you don't have to worry about the activities because they're going to come just like the software going into the hardware. We know how the system is going to operate. So these operating systems are the ideas, and these ideas are really the spells and the curses. So they come every day reading out these supposed laws and decrees. And if you understand law or overstand law, you realize that these things aren't lawful, because law is based in the celestial, in the cosmic, in the immovable things which man has observed, hallelujah, from time immemorial, right? So man has interpreted those laws into a policy framework and legislation based upon ideas, and they say that we have scribed power of attorney by marking an X. But anything that they were promising within that context of masking or X is really just property, chattel. You understand me? And these so-called Christian codes in the West are really manipulation of human chattel. So they've got titles registered like the word black and such. Many things are registered, trademark, that when you use them, it means that you're property wards of the state. So these are spells being woven in what we call corp oration, or the corp oration, right? Corporation, which is dead speak, dead language, right? This very legalistic, didactic, pedantic set of information, which is really arrangement of word, sound, and power to conjure, right? To subdue, yeah, the spirit. Yeah, that comes through the mind. Remember your emotions, the feeling of life, the law of God, which is that you're a sovereign being to decide your destiny, to choose however that you should be. Now, when that is interrupted by these spells because they have put constraints on it, and they've called you property, and hence those who are the owners of the property, they basically sell, the rights to the property. Some property are considered assets and some are considered liabilities. They sell both property, both assets and liabilities as human chattel, right? So the trafficking in human persons has been the greatest business since these corporations destroyed the republic, from 1871. So what has happened is that we here in the West, so-called, by all these so-called nationalities, referring to our actual nation state, but not really being led by anyone that is sovereign of the nation state. These are all admiralty law, mercantile system-based, merchants, right? And the law of the seas they operate on, because they cannot operate on the law of the land. So do they really have jurisdiction? But they subdue us with weaponry. You understand me? And a whole lot of, again, incantations and spells. And so we are being spelled from all these angles. The spells placate the very avenues of life. Literally, they put you within this circuit board where they harvest the energy. Literally harvest your energy. All of it. The buildings are all the subset of like a microchip, the subset of a mechanical device, like of a battery, of a transistor, the very essence of receiving and transmitting signals. That's what this entire electromagnetic sphere has been conjured into a controlled setting. It's like a simulation. Simulation isn't actuality. But I want to tell you something. But people think that, they don't have control, hallelujah, over the simulation. They have control over the simulation. And that is one of the greatest spells that's been worked on us by these sorcerers, right? And again, we see them as authority figures, send our children to learn around them when they're really just sorcerers. So people say, but there are people who use metaphysical energy. They're sorcerers, but there has been a differentiation, hallelujah, between those who are of the light and those who are of the darkness, right? So obviously I'm talking about the sorcerers, right? And that's written down in the word. But you didn't know those who were mixing portion, aka using all those biochemical stuff. You didn't know they were sorcerers, and they're under these titles, yeah, and they're putting chimeras into your bloodstream, but then you willingly accepted it because you've already been programmed and you're under these spells and these incantation, right? So if you had had a faith or developed, the true spirituality, not this belief system and talk going around comparing notes and comparing egos, but literally rising, the solar vortex in the inner sun within, Kusari, the soul, right? And having more soul frequency and resonance. And again, I won't placate it on, oh, he's a good person or a bad person. I'm talking about being aware spiritually to master both the light and shadow, both the pillars of mercy and severity with the pillar of equilibrium. You've got to make sense out of all of that nonsense. So, when you are depending on something that has no true bearing on the goodness within your soul to defend you, that's stupidity. You're playing right into the game and you're in the box. So, all that you're looking to the power doesn't have the power. The power is thou. Thou art the power beyond Huni. The power is thou. Thou art the power. So you need to awake to how the power operates as the self, right? Because if you're operating in the false premise, then you're right under the curses, right? You are taking all of your power, all of your energy, and giving it to those who are manipulating. Hallelujah. You. And it's just the way it is until you break out of it and recognize that the Most High created life and has put everything in place that a human needs to survive in all the ages. You don't need to run out of reality to find some other abstracted plane. Be here, because this is home, right? And as you're at home, be at peace with yourself, yeah? And be at peace with the environment, the true environment and the true nature. And then you will realize that there's no externalization. That is not first internalization. And if you fix the internal system, then the external system will be fixed. It's not dependent upon nobody on the outside that comes with these spells and these curses to tell you these are the edicts and these are the mandates, right? And these swift little words they write into policy and tell you that it's law and it is not within the living codes. Yeah, it cannot stand, yeah, on the day of judgment, yeah, which is every single day that we live. Our activities are brought into fruition, yeah, our judgment. So don't think it's somewhere else. Love and blessings on the path, yeah, as you break these spells and these curses that we are under, yeah. Awake the sovereign logos within. Let the spirit of the Christos, yeah, dwell upon us and allow this presence of the Paracletes to fill the very essence of your being, yeah, being in tune, yeah, with the divine frequencies, right? Yeah, that frequency, that's when you're in it, your light shall be single and your whole being shall be in harmony, right? How you living, how you're choosing to live, or you're acting, or you're choosing to act, all things will be in harmony. And the people and the experiences, yeah, won't disturb you. Hallelujah. Because you have the inner peace, yeah, because the power is thou, yeah, awakened and present. So until next time, continue on the path, the great old, reminding you, yeah, stay woke, awakened, focused, and manifested in the complete nature of the magnificent self, the gift of divine that we all are. Blessings.